The acne problem in America, 50 million people have it, and many are looking for a cause that they can control. So we're wondering if dairy maybe could be one of those causes. Let's bring in Dr. Matthew Knight. He is the president of Knight Dermatology Institute. He's also a member of the Florida Board of Medicine. Dr. Knight, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get right into this and search for a cause, right? People say, okay, could it be dairy? Could it be fried foods? Could it be? What could it be?
Yeah, I mean, like 50 million Americans have acne, and it's really bad, especially in young kids and then women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And so it's natural for people to look for a root cause. They say, well, maybe if I stop eating chocolate, it'll get better, and that doesn't really work.
Okay.
Or maybe if I quit eating greasy pizza, that my face won't have oil, or if I stop gluten, that my face will improve. And unless you have celiac disease, that's not really true. But there are a couple of things. One of them are high glycemic foods that may be relevant, but the other one is milk, especially skim milk.
Let's talk about high glycemic foods. What would that be?
Yeah, so these are things like rice cakes or donuts or bagels and things.
That could cause acne?
Sure, because
and how so?
Well, because they release a lot of insulin, and insulin is pro-inflammatory, and so this makes acne worse. And so folks that are on really high glycemic foods, and that goes back to like the standard American diet, like prepackaged foods, ultra-processed foods. Those things can cause insulin spikes, which cause inflammation, making acne worse. But the other one could be skim milk. There's something about skim milk,
as opposed to whole.
Right, not whole milk. And importantly, it doesn't apply to things like yogurt or cheese. So there's something about skim milk. There's stuff in milk called insulin growth factor that can make our oil glands big and full of oil. And skim milk has more of that, and fat slows down digestion. So when you take the fat out of milk, you have this big bolus of all these compounds and hormones that can affect acne potentially. But it's important to point out that it's not like if you stop drinking milk, your acne is definitely going to go away.
And so what are some of the other factors that we need to combine so that our acne does go away?
Well, I did want to talk briefly about that because there's a condition called orthorexia. Have you heard of this?
I have.
Yeah, these are folks that are trying to do everything perfect. They're doing prebiotics and postbiotics and taking all this food out of their diet, and they go down this rabbit hole, this spiral of not eating this and not eating that, and lo and behold, over time, they get very sick. They're bloated, they don't feel well, and the only thing that's going to make them feel better is to return to more of a normal diet. And so it's important when you start talking about what you can take out that you don't go down this spiral rabbit hole of orthorexia that can make people really, really sick, and we're seeing a lot of it.
You know, I often think that kind of reminds me of body dysmorphia, where you feel like you look really, really fat, but you're really, really thin.
That's
it's
exactly
kind of like
right.
the same thing. Okay, so what should we be eating? What should we be taking? Let's say our acne really is out of control, right? And we need to be going to see you for some kind of a prescription. Right,
and that's, it's a common misnomer that acne is a dirt problem, so you can't wash your face a bunch of times. You know, teen boys are always forever trying to wash their face 7 or 8 times a day. It's not a dirt problem, it's an oil problem.
Okay.
There's the hair follicle under the skin with an oil gland hooked up to it, and if that's out of balance, it leads to acne. And so, you know, trying things like maybe avoiding skim milk for a couple weeks may help, but it's probably not the end of the story. You need to go see your board-certified dermatologist, and there's a lot of things we can do, from topical creams that are easy and safe to oral anti-inflammatories like doxycycline, and even in some cases we need to do things like Accutane, which can really save a face, because if you have really bad scarring in your teens, there's no laser, unfortunately, that's going to correct that.
You can't get rid of that, and the deep pocks and the marks that come, that's a done deal. You can't get rid of those.
Yeah, even using the most expensive and powerful lasers, it's almost impossible to improve that over time once it's happened. So if it's happening, you know, yeah, you can play with your diet, you know, that whole food, really robust diet. Maybe try avoiding skim milk to see if it helps, but make an appointment with your dermatologist just to get on the path of improvement.
Great takeaway. So whole foods and seeing your dermatologist, your board-certified dermatologist, if you need additional help. Dr. Knight, I always appreciate your insight. Thank you, friend.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy.
Great to be